We're live. Welcome, everybody, to the John Lavenia Success Mastermind. I am John Lavenia, or at least that's my name. I'd like to think that I'm more than just that, but good to see you. It's Thursday, the 19th of May, 2022. Hey, next Monday is my birthday. Wow. There's that. All right. So now you know, everyone shower me with gifts. But it's Thursday, so you got me today. We had a great day yesterday with multiple sessions here in the group. Of course, we had our general session. We also had Books for Britain with Mandy Anderson, where they're covering Bob Proctor's book, You Were Born Rich, which is worth reading. I know a lot of us on this side of the pond haven't dug into that book, at least not in our book study group, but read it anyway. It's really good. And then, of course, we ended off last night with Networking Magic with Glenn Henderson, which was great. We even had a little special. If you missed it, you can catch the replay. We had a little special video that we didn't expect to play, which, anyway, I played it. So there's that. So if you want to hear Glenn sing opera, very, very well. Go ahead and check out the replay from last night's Networking Magic. Today's Thursday, though. So here we are in present time. Right now we're on general session, and that is it for today. We got a lot of work to do. So we're going to be working much of today. But I wanted to talk with you about appreciation. So I just said something to my daughter just before I walked in here, because she got a bag of cherries out of the refrigerator. She's deciding to eat cherries this morning. So I said, one of the cutest things that I'll never forget is when you were a baby, you used to, if we buy like a basket of strawberries, she would reach in, take a strawberry out, bite it, put it back, take another fresh strawberry, bite it, put it back. We would end up with like 10 half-eaten strawberries in this thing. And she was just oblivious. I mean, she doesn't know. She's like, a year and a half older, however, and that's how you eat strawberries, right? Now, being the guy who loves order, I could look at that and say, well, just you touch the food, you eat the food. I mean, she doesn't know, obviously, but my propensity for, creating and keeping order and being efficient, right, and all that, obviously it goes against that. But none of that even crossed my mind as I was remembering back to just how much I adore her and appreciate her. Even, the little things, which, now, and she's going to be 12 this year. It's not, she doesn't eat half the strawberry and put it back, right? She's matured, thankfully. Okay. But still, I'll never forget that. And it's just a little moment. It's just a little experience in time, which stuck because I appreciate that. So I wound up looking up the word appreciate. I know we've talked a lot about gratitude, and certainly with a lot of the books that we've read, and of course in Bob Proctor's book, You Were Born Rich. That's a principle that comes up. It has been cited as by myself and others as the greatest wealth creation emotion. Having a deep sense of gratitude brings life and elevated, I would say, a more lofty just state of being, right? It brings that and imbues your activities with a higher beingness, right? In other words, coming from a position of having and acknowledging what we have, and that we are that which we are grateful for, sets us up to have more blessings, right? And we have, again, we've read many things along these lines, but those who have shall be given, and those who have not shall lose even that which they have. That's biblical, right? So we've got to come from a position of having, but this word appreciation isn't something that I've heard come out of my mouth as often. It's easy to get into the minutia of things and to forget to, as grateful as I am for my experiences, my abilities, all that I have, to openly appreciate them. Stop and smell the coffee, or remember back to, here's just this one little event. It happened multiple times, by the way, but here's this event from my daughter's childhood, early childhood. So I looked up the word appreciate. And it says here, to recognize the full worth of. Example, she feels that he does not appreciate her. Well, it's unfortunate. Also, to be grateful for something. I'd appreciate any information you could give me. Second definition, understand a situation fully, recognize the full implications of. They failed to appreciate the pressure he was under. Or with a clause, I appreciate that you cannot be held totally responsible. Interesting examples, right? Has the dictionary here. Third definition, with no object, rise in value or price. Example, they expected the house to appreciate in value. Isn't that interesting? So the first definition is we recognize the full worth of. We are acknowledging and grateful for that value, the full value of what that is. Third definition, rise in value or price. Do you see what just happened? There's a reason that, and if you're looking for the mechanics of this, we may be onto something here. There's a reason that when we're in the spirit of gratitude, when we appreciate all that we have and all that we can do and accomplish, when we're in that state, that we're actually causing a rise in value of what? What value? What are we appreciating? Or what is appreciating in value? Ourselves. I mean, if the whole idea here, if the whole equation is to deliver value into the world, to leave it a better place than we found it, to raise up and give a hand up, not a handout, but a hand up to those, who fortunately find themselves in our midst, the impression of increase. Right? If we're about increase, if we're the advancing man or woman, what is that about? That's about the increase in value, the raising of value, and the acknowledgement and recognition of value, of worth. Can I be more effective? Can I be more valuable? By simply appreciating, or we could say, experiencing more consistently a deep sense of gratitude, it raises my value. So if you're looking for the spreadsheet and how we account for all this, this is about as close as I've gotten to it. Is that when I'm emotionally up, I'm statistically up. When I'm when I'm in the flow, like an easy flowing experience, moving fast, not getting constricted or pigeonholed or contracting, right? But when I'm expanding and when I'm flowing, well, more things flow to me. This could be the answer to the question of luck. Luck. How fortunate, how fortuitous that everything worked out. Okay, we could look at it that way. You're so lucky. Or have you more consistently than the other guy shown up as someone who appreciates all that you have and all that you can accomplish? Are we onto something here? Possibly. Now, I know as you're hearing this, a couple of things could be going through your mind. Yes, of course, right? Too basic, too simple. Okay. But, like the title of my first book, Integrity is Everything, we can intellectualize this stuff. That's worth something, I suppose, the Booby Prize or whatever. Here you go. You got to, state that and you have these thoughts about it. Nice, I suppose. Better than complete ignorance. But I'm not here for the Booby Prize. How do we demonstrate it? How do we demonstrate it? And look, this is basic stuff. Is to look, right, and to enumerate, and anybody could do this with whatever mechanisms, a gratitude list. Here are the things that I appreciate. Here are the things that I recognize that I have, not that I lack, that I have. And towards the top of the list, I think, this is just for me, is your abilities. All those abilities. We could start with, the very basic, 5 physical senses. Okay. Assuming you have all 5, I can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Nice. Okay. What about these higher mental faculties, right? Perception, reason, imagination, intuition. Can we recognize that we've got those as well? The will, the mental faculty of will, the ability to choose the right thought consistently enough that you actually get emotionally involved in a deep sense of not only gratitude, but expectation that these abilities do bear fruit and everything's being delivered right on schedule. Easy flowing experience. Yes, you've got drama too. That's fine. Well, that's part of the excitement of it. You get to solve problems and slay dragons and whatever that is. That's cool. But as simple as that is, right? So on one hand, we may say, well, that's utterly simple. You don't have to make a gratitude list. You don't have to do a damn thing. Just telling you, here's one thing we could do. On the other hand, you could be thinking right now, as simple as that sounds, I'm so in the thick of it. Putting that into consistent practice, and that's a trick, consistent, all right? Putting that into consistent practice seems like a really tall order. Yeah, I've been down the intellectual path with it, and sure, I've heard the motivational speakers and whatever, but I keep coming back to, don't you know I have problems? And of course, that which we fixate our attention on, we get more of that. So this requires some discipline. So this opportunity that you've just been presented to actually express appreciation, to recognize it for yourself and in yourself, and then to make it known beyond just yourself. Like I just told my daughter how much I appreciated who she is, and that, that event of strawberries and whatever. But did that bring her closer to me? Did that create an impression of increase? Does she know? She knew it before. Hopefully, she did. But does she know that I love and adore her, and I have her best interests in mind, and all the father-daughter stuff, right? Yeah. I think making that known more consistently has an effect on those who are the recipient of that sort of communication. There's an old saying, draw nigh unto God and he will draw nigh unto you. Nigh is Old English for near. You all probably already knew that because we got a bunch of wordsmiths here, but there could be people watching on YouTube right now who doesn't know that. Okay, so now you know. By the way, if you're on YouTube, go check out jlsuccessmastermind.com, grab yourself a free trial membership. If you want to join this conversation, it's definitely one worth being in. But as you make real, as you put your attention on stuff, and that expands, and that's validated, and that's more real for you in your life, you get more of that. What's the a corollary to all this would be like you've got 5 and 6 generations of welfare recipients, people living on the dole, right? Government assistance and that sort of thing. Mandy's cat is taking up almost the entire frame of her camera. That's funny. So you've got, is that real? Hell yeah, it's real. This is how you survive in life. This is how you, as demonstrated by generations of people who come before me, and they survived to whatever degree. This is how that works. This is workable. This is real. This carries water. Okay. And to whatever degree we've consistently gone into a state of agreement with conditions and circumstances and that which we consider workable, right? That which helps us survive and do whatever we're doing in life. To that degree, we've also been trapped by it. So yes, you can get your government cheese, but you can also go into a state of agreement that that's all you're capable of. There's a narrative which has become rather prolific that things, entities, governments, something outside of you needs to do more for you. And I know many of us here, we're not aligned with that, to whatever degree. Yeah, I do believe that there are entities that can, pave the roads and make sure that people aren't running amok, in the streets and whatever. So there is usefulness for that sort of organization. However, the narrative also includes, without saying it, you'll never be capable of doing it on your own. In fact, you can't do more than this. So be dependent on this outside, whatever this is, and because you're not capable of more. There's the rest of the story. There's the rest of the unspoken narrative. So here, we'll do for you because you can't. Because you can't. I don't believe that. And we've seen countless examples, right? It's not like you need to be a unicorn to say that the buck stops here. And enough with the 5 generations of people living on the dole or whatever. The buck stops here. Let me go and pull myself up by my bootstraps and do something of worth to exchange with my fellow man, to provide value, and to be compensated fairly and abundantly. And that's why I say your abilities, I think, can and should be at the top of the list of those things which you actually appreciate and are grateful for. And because we've got our attention on those and we appreciate those, they raise in value. So we're acknowledging value and therefore increasing value. Or we acknowledge the problem and therefore increase the problem. What we validate expands. And you can go on either vector, right? We're going up, we're going down, hey, right? It's the same energy. And some people have demonstrated a lifetime of destruction, just being on the wrong vector. In David Hawkins' book, The Power versus Force, The Hidden Determinants of Human Behavior, he talks about how unlikely it is, and you can agree or disagree, but this was his observation, how unlikely it is for someone to make big strides in this lifetime, okay? Because we go into agreement, we get into a chronic state of how we operate emotionally and with our identity and all this, and whether that's powerful or forceful, he draws the line between power and force based on the chronic emotional state of the person. He wasn't the first guy to talk about this. He just kind of gave his own spin on it. If you want to dig really deep, L. Ron Hubbard, this guy laid it out like no one's ever done before. Amazing. But if someone is chronically in a state of enthusiasm, right? That's like commonly how we find you. I call Lindsay, and almost every time, right, she's enthusiastic about something, right? Excited, moving forward, right? Kicking her step, and whatever you think of enthusiasm, right? She's going to perceive and behave and operate with data, whatever that data is, buying, selling, opportunities, relationships, whatever those inputs are, or the things in her environment, right? My business, my spouse, my whatever, right? She's going to perceive them differently than the person who is chronically in what Hawkins would call a forceful position. Let's say anger. Chronically, I'm not saying you can never get angry. Okay, we all have a variety of emotions, but if the person is chronically angry most of the time, So I called Lindsay, and she's always pissed off. She's going to perceive the same data, the same inputs, the same stuff, totally different. And the results will be totally different. There are people who, and I've spoken with thousands of them, so I'm not just giving you theory here. I'm giving you vast experience. Okay, because I've been in the business opportunity space for decades, right? I know about business opportunities, and I also know that most people aren't already billionaires. You probably know that as well. Okay, and some of these people find things like promotional advertising and things for various business opportunities, and they raise their hand and say, I'd like more information. But, and it's a big but, a really big but, okay, who they are at that juncture is who they've been up to this point, which has kept them broke, whatever, in a state of chronic deficit. So they can't see opportunity. Right? You can't convince, what's the saying? A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. And so everything's a scam. Everything. I mean, you could be curing cancer, saving the whales, handing out free gold bullion. What's the saying? It's too good to be true. Okay. For who? For who? Now, I'm not saying there's no such thing as a scam. I mean, I talked to a guy just 2 days ago who I don't have all the data, but it seems like he got taken for about $56,000 on an internet marketing scam. So yeah, trust but verify, right, and all that. I'm just talking about the knee-jerk reaction of non-appreciation, of I can't even see the data because I've already got my foregone conclusions. There's the danger. Is if we're coming from a position of I already know, and it's not good. Okay, I already know, and it's not good. Well, you can't learn anything until, here's the thing, until the necessity level gets high enough, someone's back is right against the wall, where they can, for a moment, forsake their own best thinking, which is scary, and it's not a casual thing. And I've had to do it several times, right? So my chronic, agreement with, these conditions, or what I think is real about this or that, right? I had to abandon that and just look and just get objective and just be open to learning something. Because after all, if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? That is also an expression of appreciation. I appreciate that I don't know everything, and therefore I can raise my own value and know more. I've never learned anything by being right. Okay, I've got to not know, and now I can learn something. That is a self-appreciating decision, which happens from time to time, right? Now, of course, we're going to go through life, and most of the things that we do on a daily basis are those routine kind of things. I don't have to, when I confront the refrigerator and in it are the eggs, right? I don't have to, clear my mind of, all historical data and memory, which is another one of my mental faculties, which I'm grateful for. And discover, this is an egg, right? Oh my goodness. Wow. Although I suppose if you did go through life like that, well, you'd get a lot less done, but you would certainly, pick up details. One of the things that I do when I come into a new city is I walk. I remember being in Napoli, in Naples, Italy, and it was actually in Sorrento. So just on the other side of Pompeii and Mount Vesuvius, there's Sorrento. It's kind of a resort town. We were doing an event. And during the event, it was like a 4 or 5 day event. We had a free day. Go do whatever you want. Some people got on the boat to go to Corsica. and check out the islands and I don't know, drink the drinks or whatever. I'm not into it. I got on the train. I got on public transportation and rode the train with my wallet in my front pocket because there's pickpockets there. But I rode the train past Mount Vesuvius through Pompeii to the Garibaldi. Garibaldi is like Grand Central Station, Naples. All right, the Garibaldi. And I got out of the train, set foot in Naples, Italy, which is where my lineage is from, and walked all day. I walked and I saw Naples. Well, I saw as much of it as I could see in the amount of time that I had, but I walked all day. First stop was Harley Davidson of Naples, Italy. Got my t-shirt, then started going in the other direction. In fact, they were impressed. They were like, this guy walked from the Garibaldi. Yeah, sell him a t-shirt. And I walked the other way, back past the Garibaldi, down to the, where the old churches and the beautiful art and all this, and got to see some of the facades. In fact, there was a lot of construction going on and repair because these buildings are like some of them are 1,000 years old and all this. You look at American cities, like even New York, right, which is an older city. It's like brand new compared to Naples. And so there's like concrete falling off the buildings and everything, but I got to see it all. Little details. You can't see that in a car. I finally ended up at, it was getting closer to sundown. I ended up at a cafe, had the best double espresso and pistachio gelato I've ever had. Of course, I was starving, right? So it could have been anything. It was going to taste awesome. But in fact, you say pistachio. I showed up saying pistachio, and the guy was like, pistachio? Yeah, that's it, pistachio. And then I walked my ass back to the Garibaldi, got on a train, and showed up back in Sorrento and did the rest of the event. But what I got to appreciate, back to the word of the day, what I got to appreciate were the details. Just like if I was discovering the egg for the first time, I would notice the subtleties of the egg. I would experience more of it. So when we're talking about appreciating who we are and all that we've become and all that we can create and all that we've already accomplished, we're talking about experiencing more of the goodness which is already there. It's already there. The unlikely beauty of pieces of concrete that have crumbled off of the facade of the building, that was part of the experience. That was part of the beauty of it. Experiencing the age and actually seeing how this thing was built. I mean, that was, for me, I appreciated that. Right? You didn't get that if you're just driving down the car, right? So what nuance can you, as the experiencer of your own life, what nuance can you stop and smell the roses and see the concrete and and look at the egg, right? Where can you do that in your life right now? And I'm going to offer it to you that it must include others. It must include, just like I used my daughter as the example, which was a real example from 5 minutes before it went live, right? I remembered something and I let her know that I appreciated her in that way. I also appreciate that she's learning her cursive writing right now. She's practicing that without me having to tell her. That's good. She's not in class today, but she's doing her work nonetheless. I appreciate that. What about you guys? Is there something that you've overlooked? You're just too busy. You're in the thick of it. Therefore, you don't have time to look and appreciate. You forget to be grateful for. Or on the other hand, is there something where you've just seen this expand and blossom in your life because, yes, you have had your attention on what's good and right. Understand there's the law of polarity, right? So if you've got one side of the coin, you've got to have the other side of the coin. Otherwise, there's no coin, right? So there's heads and tails, or whatever it's printed onto. It's not actually tails, is it? Sometimes it's not even heads. Anyway, you get the point, right? If there's one side, there's got to be another side. If there's something wrong with something, that means there's got to be something right with something. In fact, if we look at this like on a scale, like a seesaw, teeter totter, right? So if you're going to have something balance, right, like a lot of weight on one side, that means there's got to be a lot of weight on the other side, right? If you slide that weight closer to the fulcrum in the middle, then the weight that's further out is going to tip. Well, that's not workable, right? So if something's really good, then there's something really bad. If you've been, let's say we move the weights closer in. If something's kind of good, something's kind of bad. Well, if you've been focusing on one side or the other, right, then you're yourself. You could be out of balance with that. And look, any half an idiot can get negative and critical. I mean, that's easy to do. You don't need any training on that. So we tend to focus on, I'll speak for myself, here's what's not working. And look, it's good to be able to find and even prevent problems and stuff, right? You could find, that was my professional training. I went to diesel college and I learned how to find problems. I know how to diagnose machinery. That's cool, good, usable stuff. Find the problem. But don't just sit there and live with the problem, right? In fact, I've already been talking for a half hour. I'm going to shut up pretty soon. But, and this is a little tidbit, okay? But the first step in diagnosis, no matter what you're working on, right, this is back from my college days. So no matter if it's hydraulics, electronics, mechanical, whatever, first step in diagnosis is always visual inspection. Always. And I think I've told you guys some stories about this, but this serves me still in life. I can't solve a problem unless I look and confront the problem. So many people go down all these rabbit holes of secondary and tertiary solutions to problems. They don't even know what the problem is. Look. And then you can perhaps save yourself a lot of time. So the point is, if we're only looking at the problem or what doesn't work, right, and we fixate our attention there, are we really appreciating what must be on the other side of that lever? What must be on the other side? There's no such thing as 100% wrong or 100% right, 100% bad, 100% good, somewhere on that scale. But know for yourself that if you're experiencing some sort of a difficulty, what can you appreciate about that? What's on the other side of that lever? Okay, this could be the springboard for that, right? This could be the learning experience to 10x your results. And again, this may just sound like, well, yeah, of course, John, and some good motivational talk there. I'm telling you guys, putting it into use, integrity, well, now we're talking. Now step right up and stay close, okay? Because you're going to forget a lot. And you're going to go astray a lot. I'm here to win. I think you guys are too, right? So let's remember this stuff. Let's appreciate all that we have and all that we can accomplish. And let's expect that upward spiral. Let's go on that upward vector and let's put our energy into what's good and right and what works. Those things of good report. Let's put our attention on those things. Let's think on those things, as Paul said in his letter to the Corinthians, I think, and let's expand that. Let's appreciate that. All meanings of the word. Conscious gratitude for and increase in value. Appreciate. What do you guys think of this? Am I making any sense? I hope I am. Let me get a taste of this delightful beverage. Who wants to talk? Come on out and start. Hi, Missy.
Guys are so slow to talk. I find that I'm trapped a lot of the times by my five senses because it keeps fooling me into thinking that I'm this thing moving through. And I think you talked about it a long time ago, like if you're on the baseball field, you have one view in the middle of the game, but if you're sitting up there,
Mhm.
You have to go out of your five senses. You have to be still, and you have to, what really raises my vibration is being grateful for the unseen. Yes, I'm
Mhm.
grateful for everything I have, but the unseen yet to come, because then I have to have unwavering faith. Wallace Wallace, I have to have unwavering faith that it's coming. And when you get that feeling, you know it. It's unmistakable. You
Mhm.
can't tell somebody how to do it. You just have to do it and practice it. And that's where the five senses can help you gather that. When you bring it into that, you're imagining, Neville got it, of course, Zoll never got it. When you bring your five senses into through your mind, instead of bringing your mind through your five senses, yeah, that gets you lost. And especially if you have had difficulties, and so that your point of view is skewed to begin with, which mine was, when you go into your imagination and it's limitless, and you bring your five senses into that, you're making that future reality. You've actually been there, even though your body has not left your bed or wherever you are at the moment. So yeah, gratitude. I got my little
Mhm.
book, Green for Gratitude, and it just does wonders. Even if you're miserable, just start. There's got to be something you could be. I got five toes. Let me put that down. If you can't think of anything, I got a thumb. I can see. So, and then you start from there. You got to start somewhere, but then
Mhm.
you have to go and do and increase and increase. We want to be there, but we're stuck here. And you can quantum leap it. There's a book, U squared. You can quantum leap it if you take the proper imaginal steps and have unwavering faith and ignore any circumstance, any appearances to the contrary. Wallace Waddles. That's my blathering for today.
That's
Thank you for
beautiful.
this topic.
Thank you. Thank you, Missy. The yeah, like we said, you don't go through life without challenges, right? I mean, you're dealing with all kinds of stuff. Okay. The and who isn't, right? But at the same time, that which we validate expands. So be deliberate about that, And Missy, as you were talking, the word inspired came up for me, like in spirit, inspiration. So that is not something that's discerned by five senses alone, right? In fact, there was a guy named Joel Goldsmith. He wrote some books like a parentheses in eternity, and he was kind of like a modern day apostle, right? Talking about Christian scripture and all this. And one of the things that he said was that this spiritual fruit must be discerned spiritually, not intellectually. So you can't intellectualize your way into enlightenment or something. But this must be spiritually discerned. And I think, how does that relate to what we're talking about here? Uh, Ostensibly, right? The event, the action, the circumstance, whatever it happens to be. Yeah, we can use our five senses, and we can, have opinions about it. But my daughter eating half a strawberry and putting it back as a toddler, I would say that that's something to be spiritually discerned, or that I did experience as more than just, five senses and, a thinking thing, right? Because I mean, look, remember, something's right, something's wrong, right? There's both. Well, yeah, it's wrong. Put half-eaten strawberries back in the thing. But what was right about it? And I can't tell you what was right about it using my five senses and just my intellect. It was life expressing itself. It was, I mean, I don't know if it gets more experience, it's more spiritual than that, right? So and I may sound a bit fluffy today. Maybe I'm in a fluffy mood. I don't know. I'm also dealing with, my wife's a bit under the weather, and she's a trooper, though. We're for those of you who don't know, we're also running our CEO Freedom Challenge, which started today. She delivered. She delivered. She's laying down having a rest now. But I think if we could just slow down for a moment and appreciate all that we have and all we're capable of, then the time that we do spend in the working, the solving problems and slaying dragons and whatever is just imbued with, that sense of inspiration and appreciation. So, all right. Anybody else? I see a few others here with us live right now. I do see also in the chat, Missy said, damn pickpocket Italians. Actually, I heard it was mostly the Romanians who were creating issues there. But who knows? I don't live there. All right, good. Anybody else? All right, then we're gonna get a bunch done today. Lindsay, you've got a hot mic.
Oh, I was just going to say, it does go to gratitude when you are thankful and you're trying to experience increase. Then, all of these extra things start showing up. And are they urgent? Are they important? Can you do without them? What are you grateful for? That all just goes together because I don't know. It's just kind of the drama. You have to shake it off. Be grateful that you're not a part of it. Maybe, I don't know, but it is. It goes to gratitude. And you're right about the little things that you can't see with your senses, and you just have to, But everybody thinks something to be grateful for.
Right. Lindsay, as you were talking, I was thinking about people who they just want the shortcuts, the answers, the mechanics, let's say, for example, make money online. All right. So in that space, there's a lot of training, tactical training, how to do this and that with the Facebook and the thing and the email. That's all good and valid, but who's doing it? Man, it makes the world a difference. All the training in the world won't bear fruit if it's someone who's chronically in a state of non-appreciation. Again, this is more of a, so we could talk about the spiritual discernment of marketing. Okay, great. Who's showing up? Guys, this is the primary issue. I'm convinced. Everything else is secondary or tertiary, which means third, right? Primary, secondary, tertiary. All right, guys, let's wrap up with that. I'll see you all tomorrow for Fun Friday. And again, if you're seeing this on YouTube, go ahead and check out jlsuccessmastermind.com. We've got all new stuff coming to the members site and all that, but you can get in now for free trial membership. So go ahead and do that. I'll see you guys back here in less than 24 hours. So make it a great day. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye for now.